Okay, sir. Hello and welcome to Raus IAS. This is the Daily News Simplified for the date 18 January 2024. And for our today's discussion, we have taken these particular topics which are displayed on your screen. So, for prelims discussion, we have taken three important topics. The first of which is Jagannath Temple Corridor. So, this is an important temple development infrastructure project which has been inaugurated in Odisha, in Puri in Odisha. So, we will be seeing about it. The second topic is related to gut microbiota. Gut microbiota is the collection of microorganisms that reside in our gut or in our digestive system and which plays an important role, and we will be seeing it. The third topic is regarding places in news. This is in news in particular to the recent military strikes which Iran has done in Pakistan and also in other countries like Syria and Iraq. And now for our main discussion, we have picked two important topics. First of which is a recently released report, ASER 2023, which is Beyond Basics. And this gauges the significant issues in education, in school education in rural areas. The second topic is regarding millets. As we all know that year 2023 was celebrated as the International Year of Millets. And we know that millets is an answer to various problems in the country. We'll be discussing we will be discussing about this issue in detail in our mains article. And finally, in the today's summary, we have identified this a particular editorial from Indian Express, and this talks about the inequality and social mobility, that how inequality impacts social mobility. So these are the articles which we have picked today. So let's start our discussion. But before starting our discussion, you can give us a thumbs up if you like this video and kindly comment on what do you feel about this initiative, and you can ask your questions in the comment section. So let's start our discussion. So the first topic for today's discussion, or first MCQ for the day, is inspired by this news article which appeared on the page number 4 of The Hindu. The news article says that the Chief Minister of Odisha has inaugurated the Jagannath Temple Corridor. Now let's see a few facts regarding Jagannath Temple Corridor. Jagannath Temple Corridor is a temple infrastructure development project, and this project was initiated in the year 2021. Basically, this is a 75-meter corridor which have been Odisha. So basically, it will facilitate the amenities to the tourist who will be visiting that temple. So why we have taken this topic is because UPSC has multiple time asked questions regarding various temples, regarding various traditions, particularly which are related to art and culture. As we can see that in the year 2021, we found this particular question which was regarding the Chaussat Yogini Temple in Morena. So similarly, we have framed this question which is regarding Jagannath Temple which is situated in Puri. Now, before solving this MCQ, let's see a few facts regarding this ancient temple. Now, Jagannath Puri Temple is an ancient temple in India which is located in Puri, Odisha, in the eastern coast of India. This temple is dedicated to Lord Jagannath, who is considered as a form of Lord Vishnu. So, this temple is associated with Vaishnavism. And along with Lord Jagannath, his siblings are also worshipped in this temple. They reside there. They are his brother Balbhadra and his sister Subhadra. And this temple is one of the 108 Abhiman Kshetram of Vaishnavite tradition. And this temple is included in the Char Dham pilgrimage sites of the country. So basically there are 4 dhams or Char Dhams, or these are, first of which is Puri, which is located in Odisha. Another is Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. Other is Badrinath in Uttarakhand. And finally Dwarka in Gujarat. This temple is an ancient temple, but it was rebuilt in 10th century AD by the king of Eastern Ganga dynasty, Anantavarman. So this is an important fact regarding this article. The temple was built by King Anantavarman of Eastern Ganga dynasty, and this temple is built in the Kalinga style of architecture, which is native to Odisha. Particularly, it is found there. And an interesting fact about this temple is that usually the idols of the temple are carved out of stone. But in this particular temple, the image of Lord Jagannath is made up of wood, neem wood. And this wood and his icon or his idol is ceremoniously replaced after every 12 or 19 years by an exact replica made out of wood. So these are some important facts regarding this temple. Now let's solve this practice question. The question says that with reference to the Jagannath temple situated in Puri, consider the following statements. Statement 1. The temple is one of the Abhiman Kshetram of the Vaishnavite tradition. Now, as we already discussed, this is a correct statement. The second statement says the present structure of the temple was first built by Narsimdev II of the Eastern Ganga dynasty. And this is an incorrect statement as this was built by Anantavarman. The third statement says that the temple follows Kalinga architectural style. And this is a correct statement. Now, the question asked how many of the above statements are incorrect. So, our correct answer would be only one, as two statements are correct. Now, with this, let's move on to our next MCQ for the day. It is inspired by this news article which appeared on the science section of The Hindu. Now, this article is related to gut microbiota. Now, see, if we talk what are microbiota? Microbiota is the collection of it is a collection of microorganisms. It is a collection of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microorganisms which reside in human body. So basically, there are trillions of microorganisms that reside in human body. They can reside in various organs of human body. For example, they can reside in respiratory system. They can reside in genital organs. They can reside in gut. And if we talk about gut, what is gut? Gut consists of oral cavity, that is mouth, esophagus, that is food pipe, and stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. So, this comprises of human gut, and the largest number of microbiota present in human body reside in human gut. And these microbiota, they form a symbiotic relationship with the cells in human body. That is, both the bacteria and the cells in human body are benefiting each other, right? And now, let's see a few facts about this gut microbiota. First thing is that this gut microbiota is unique to each individual. That is, no two persons on earth will have similar composition of microorganism in his gut. Why is it so? This is because every human has a unique experience when he is alive on earth. Unique experience in the sense they may have a different set of diseases. They may acquire immunity in different forms, that is either by interaction with diseases or by taking some vaccines, antibiotics, antimicrobials, these all things. And other things, this immunity or this microorganism, this microbiota may also come from the dietary preferences of that individual. And also the genes of any individual, they also impact the microbiota which is present in any particular individual. Hence, we can say that the microbiota present in gut of any human is unique to him. because of all these experiences, because of all these unique experiences he has. This is one fact. And now based on these facts, okay, one more important thing, that what is the role of these microbiota? As I already told you that they play a symbiotic relationship. Now basically this microbiota, if we talk about digestive system in the gut, they help in digestion of food. They help in better assimilation of the nutrients from food or better assimilation of the calories from the food. That is in assimilation or extraction of digested food, right? Extraction of digested food. And also they provide us immunity. That is, they can fight pathogens. So these are some of the most important functions which these microbiota they perform in human body. Now in UPSC we have seen that UPSC asks questions in biotechnology regarding various aspects of human biology also. And in the year 2022 we found this particular question which was regarding biofilms. And now let's solve this practice question, which says that consider the following statements. Statement 1. The gut is established at birth and continues to develop throughout our lifetime. Now this is a correct statement. As I already told you, gut comprises of all these organs, and the gut is established at birth and it continues to develop throughout the lifetime of an individual. Second statement says that no two people have the same gut microbiome. Now this is also a correct statement, as every person has unique experience on earth. The third statement says that genomic studies can develop personalized treatments for gut related diseases. Now this is also a correct statement. Now for this there was an important project in which is human microbiome project. Basically this was a project which was initiated by United Nations, the United Nations Health Institute, and this project aimed to study the correlation between the presence of microbiota and human health. That is, what is the relationship between this microbiota and human health, and for this they aim to understand it with the help of genome sequencing. So this is an important project regarding this particular topic, and it is human microbiome project initiated by United Nations Health Institute. And based on this study, these genomic studies can help to develop personalized treatment for gut related diseases. This is because if there is any disturbance in this gut microbiota, any surplus of them and any absence of them can cause various diseases in humans, right? So this is also a correct statement. Now as a question asked, how many of the above statement is or are correct? Our answer would be option C, all three statements are correct. Now let's move on to our final MCQ for the day, and it is inspired by these news articles which appeared on The Hindu also, and this news article also appeared on Indian Express. Now you know that recently there have been a military strike by Iran in some countries. Recently, like Iran did military strikes in Iraq, Syria, and lately in Pakistan. In Pakistan, Iran did a military strike in the military bases in Panjgur, Panj, Panjgur, which is the town in Balochistan province of Pakistan. Now, these events, these news are important for us on the perspective regarding the important locations, regarding some important locations. So, as you know that UPSC asks questions regarding various important places in news. So from these news articles, what we have to see or what we have to learn is the name of these important places, some important places, which we will be seeing in this practice question. Now we saw this particular question which appeared in the year 2018. Now, based on this, we have framed this particular question. And the news recently, some places in news regarding the sequence of events include Erbil, Kurdish region, Kerman, and Idlib. Now we will see where these locations are present. So, firstly, Iran did a military strike in Panjgur town, which is in Balochistan region of Pakistan, and this military strike targeted Jaish al-Adl, which is a militant organization, Sunni militant organization or Balochistan separatist group, and it basically operates in Pakistan, right? So Panjgur is a location which is in Pakistan, and if you zoom out this map, we can see that Panjgur is located in the southwest of Pakistan, right? And let's see some other, recently some other incidents took place. For example, this is a map of Iraq, and we can see a location here in the north of Iraq, and this is Erbil, Erbil. And in this location, Iran did a military missile attack on an Israeli spy facility. Also, if we proceed further, we see this location Kerman, which is located in Iran. So there was a suicide bomb blast by Daesh or ISIS. It happened in the Kerman city of Iran, and in its retaliation, Iran did a ballistic missile attack in Idlib city in Syria. So with this news article, you must see that Idlib is an important location in Syria, and Aleppo, it also remains in news frequently, and Kerman is present in Iran, Erbil is present in Iraq, and Panjgur is present in Pakistan. So if we solve this practice question now, this practice question, we have to match these regions in news with the country in which they are present. Erbil is located in Iran. This is incorrect as it is located in Iraq. Idlib, it is present in Syria. This is correctly matched. Panjgur, it is present in Afghanistan. This is incorrect and it is present in Pakistan. Kerman, it is present in Israel. This is incorrect. It is present in Iran. So, only one of the pair is correctly matched and other three are incorrect. So, the correct answer would be option A. Now, having seen the prelims articles, now let's move on to our mains article for the day. So, our first mains article is inspired by this news article which appeared at multiple locations in today's newspaper. This news article appeared on The Hindu also and in multiple places in Indian Express. Now, the context of this news article is that recently a basic, beyond basics survey has been released by ASER, which is Annual State of Education Report. And this survey has been released recently. And this tells about the poor foundational literacy and numeracy in the children aged 14 to 18 years in rural schools. Now in this news article, we will be seeing that why is this foundational literacy and numeracy important, like what is it, and what are the challenges that despite the presence of various educational initiatives, despite the presence of various national education policies and various schemes by the government, still that there are challenges to achieving foundational literacy and numeracy in the country, right? So this news article is important for our mains perspective, for our GS paper 2 social justice. Under the syllabus head, development and management of social sector or services related to health, education and human resources. Basically, it is related to education and also human resources. Now, based on this theme, if we see in the past, UPSC has asked several questions. Like in the year 2022, we found this particular question, which was regarding the right of children to free and compulsory education 2009, that it has remained inadequate in promotive incentive-based system for children education. The second question was regarding vocational education. The other question was regarding the quality of higher education of India, which needs major improvements. So these are some of the questions, but this theme is very important for our GS paper 2, social justice. Just wait a minute. Okay. Now, if we move further, now first let's see that what is this ASER survey all about. Now, ASER has released a survey, and this survey has been released by Pratham Foundation. Now, ASER is an annual, ASER stands for Annual State of Education Report. So, it is an annual survey, or we can say that it used to be an annual survey till it was initiated in the year 2005, and it used to be an annual survey till 2016, and since then it is being released every alternate year. And now recently, ASER has released Beyond Basic report. There are two kind of surveys which ASER do. Firstly, it does a survey in the children, school going children. The keyword is in rural areas. In school going children in rural areas in the age group 3 to 16 years. And this survey is related to check their enrollment status, to check what are they learning, to check their basic reading and arithmetic skills. And this year there was a Beyond Basic survey which was released, Beyond Basic Survey 2023, and this particularly targets the school going children in the age group 14 to 18 years in rural areas. Now basically for it, around or more than 1600 schools were surveyed in rural India, and this survey was conducted in 26 states of India and in around 28 districts in the country. One district was chosen from each state, and only two districts were chosen, two each in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. And this survey was a household survey. That is, the survey was conducted by going to the households of these children. The children who were studying in, say, private institutions, religious institutions, government institutions, they were surveyed at their homes to check their dropout rates, to check all these indicators, right? And more than 36,000 students were surveyed in this survey, right? And now let's see that. Now, one more thing, that this survey is named Beyond Basics. That is basically, it seems to judge the children's basic reading and arithmetic skills, or the foundational literacy and numeracy in these school going children. Foundational literacy and numeracy. Now you see, the development of foundational literacy and numeracy, it starts since, you can say, since the formative years. The formative years of any children are from 3 to, when they are aged 3 to 9 years. And more than, it has been said that more than 85% of the cumulative cognitive development of any children occurs in these particular years. And till the age of 6 years, more than 85% of cognitive development happens in children. And at these stage, the first thing what they do is they learn literacy skills. How do we learn literacy skills at first? For that, we need to know the alphabets of any number, of any language. So first of all, there is a need to learn the literacy skills of any language. That is, it is done by identification of letter and words. When a child is able to identify letter and words, he can identify the phonetic sound associated with it. He can form sentences, and if he forms sentences, he would be able to read those sentences, right? Read those words, and then he will be able to understand those sentences. And that is, by identifying this pattern, a child may be able to do comprehensive. That is, it will aid in developing his literacy skills. And one more thing, that initially we learn to read, and after this age group 6 years, we read to learn. There is a difference between learn to read and read to learn. So in the foundational years, we are only learning to read. Later on, we can improvise and then we will read to learn. But for that, we should have some foundational literacy skills and foundational numeracy skills. And even what are numeracy skills? Similarly, these are identification of number systems, number line, and based on its identification, the ability to perform complex problems or simple problems related to numbers. Simple problems like addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. So this is what is foundational literacy and numeracy, which can help in solving problems of daily life. But what are the findings of this ASER survey, which aimed to evaluate the foundational literacy and numeracy in these school going children? So let's see the findings. The first finding is regarding literacy. And as a news articles, the news article says that most of the rural kids aged between 14 to 18 years can't do class 3 math, and over 25% can't read. So these are the findings of this survey, which mean that there is a significant gap in the children who are aged 14 to 18 years, and in this age group they are unable to develop foundational literacy and numeracy, which should have been developed till they were 9 years of age or till they were younger. But this is a sorry state of education that they were not able to develop these foundational learning skills. And now let's see what are the findings of this report. This is just for your understanding that this report says that over 25% children in the age group of 14 to 18 years in rural India, they cannot read. They are not even able to read class 2nd level textbooks, and even if the textbooks are written in their regional languages. And in this survey, females performed better than males. And the survey says that 50% of these students were able to read sentences in English. And if we talk about numeracy, for that we saw that more than 50% of these children, they struggled with division. That is, they have not been able to develop these basic numeracy skills. And in this arithmetic skills, male performed better than females. And this survey was also regarding the digital skills. And the survey said that around 90% of these surveyed children, they had smartphones. And they used these smartphones for social media, but the concern was that they were unfamiliar with online safety regulations. Other thing was regarding enrollment. In this survey, it was found that around 87% of these children were enrolled in schools. There was a higher dropout rate in the children who were aged 18, but there were lower dropout rate in the children who were aged 14. And one important thing in this enrollment ratio, in this enrollment pattern was that there were more preference to the children in rural areas to arts stream as compared to STEM, and more women were enrolled in the art section as compared to males. That is, we can say that there is a less number of women who are choosing STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. And this was the most alarming thing about this survey, that if we talk about vocational education, there are not enough opportunities in rural India to provide them vocational education, as just 5.6% of them did any vocational training or any vocational courses. So this is a very small number, right? Now let's see that government has brought up a new education policy in the year 2020, but before it we had two educational policies also, existing educational policies, one in 1968 and one in 1986. And government India also has a Right to Education Act 2009, which calls for free and compulsory education for children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. Now see, despite all these initiatives, and there are Anganwadis also, and there is Sarva Siksha Abhiyan, which have been clubbed as Samagra Siksha Abhiyan, right? So we have various initiatives for educational development, but still there are several challenges in achieving foundational literacy and numeracy in the country. Now let's see that what are these challenges. The first challenge is lack of early childhood care and education. Now see, what does early childhood care and education means? See, when I told you that more than 85% of cognitive development in children occurs prior to the age of 6 years. For that, they require a higher level of childhood care and education, and they require an interactive environment for it. We can say they require play schools, open spaces in which they can play, interactive surroundings, interaction with their parents, interaction with the first provider of education, which could be schools, which could be parents in some cases, but especially in the children who belong to lower economic background or disadvantaged sections, they do not get this early childhood care and education, and because of which their cognitive development delays, and because of which they face problems in learning these skills later in their life. The second thing is there is a poor status of Anganwadis. Now you know Anganwadis, they were created in the year 1975 under ICDS scheme, Integrated Childhood Development Scheme, in the year 1975, and basically they were to provide the first line of say education, nutritional care, health care facilities to the children, and basically to the children in rural areas. But we have seen that in Anganwadis they lack suitable infrastructure. We can say suitable age appropriate infrastructure for these children to play, and they lack suitable materials, teaching and learning materials. The Anganwadi workers, they are overworked, and there is lack of nutritious food which they being provided to these children. And because of all these limitations or poor status of Anganwadi in the formative stages of life, this impact the cognitive development of these children. So this is another issue. The third issue is regarding poor pedagogy or poor curriculum, the method of teaching in schools. As we know that in schools, in majority of the schools, the primary focus is on rote learning, and there is less focus on developing the higher order thinking skills in children. Be it anything, be it lack of innovative curriculum, or be it lack of education in regional languages. So these may be some challenges because of which children who do not get education in their regional languages may face issues in learning foundational literacy and numeracy at an early age, right? So this is due to poor pedagogy and curriculum design. The third thing is nutritional deficiency in the children of India. Now we all know that nutrition and education, they are interrelated. That is, health and education are interrelated. Only a healthy mind would be able to comprehend things more effectively, or efficient comprehension of things. But now if we see the population of India, especially in the rural India, many of the children, they are malnourished. And if we talk about the National Family Health Survey 5, or if we talk about the findings of Global Hunger Index, the latest Global Hunger Index 2023, we see alarming trends of malnutrition in the country. This malnutrition, this can be seen in form of stunting, in form of wasting, in form of obesity or low weight, right? Just to give you a fact that in terms of child wasting in the country, India, I think there should be child stunting. So, in terms of child stunting in the country, India tops this global hunger index. That is, we have the largest population of children who are stunted, who have low height as per their age. And this is around 18.7% of population of children. So this is an alarming indicator that presence of nutritional deficiency is surely going to impact their ability to perceive or their ability to learn. The third thing is, another thing is inadequate infrastructure. So inadequate infrastructure, as we already saw that there is a lack of infrastructure in say Anganwadis, even in schools, there is a lack of infrastructure, say physical infrastructure, lack of open spaces, or even in some schools there are no playgrounds, and lack of say furniture, basic furniture, lack of say hygiene, lack of sanitation facilities. And in today modern time, we can see that there is lack of digital infrastructure in schools. So these are some of the alarming things which we see, which impact acquiring foundational literacy and numeracy in the students. Other thing is there is a low pupil to teacher ratio in the country. As by the Right to Education Act 2009, it is mandated that the teacher to pupil ratio should be one teacher per 35 students in the country. But we have seen that especially in rural India, there are several schools which are run by a single teacher. So we can see that there is shortage of staff, shortage of staff in the schools, and also we can see that there is a shortage of quality teachers or trained staff in these schools. And basically these are all the factors which impact their achievement in foundational literacy and numeracy. So in this sense, we have seen that there are several initiatives by the government in the past. Lately, we can see by the National Education Policy 2020. The National Education Policy 2020 was launched in the year 2020, and this was the first educational policy the India adopted in 21st century. Earlier, we had an educational policy in 1968 and in 1986, and this was updated in the year 2020. Why was NEP 2020 launched? NEP 2020 was launched to reform the quality of education in schools, in higher education centers like colleges, and even technical education in the country, right? So the basics of NEP 2020 was affordability, accessibility of education, affordability of education, and it aims to focus on improving the quality of education, right? So we will see some keywords related to new education policy 2020. It also talked about introducing a new curriculum and pedagogy, especially in schooling education, where the pattern was changed as 5 plus 3 plus 4. 5 included preschooling, class 1 2, and these were other classification respectively. And then it also talked about improving or achieving foundational literacy and numeracy. And it also talked about education in regional languages. Education in regional languages, especially till the grade 5th. And it also talked about reforms in assessment, quality assessment to check to improve learning outcomes. It talked about gender inclusive educational institutions. It talked about improving the gross enrollment ratio. It talked about increasing the expenditure, the health expenditure to 6% of GDP, which is presently 3%. So these were some of the important points about new education policy 2020. Now, based on this new education policy 2020, this criteria, foundational learning and foundational literacy and numeracy, there is us, there is a program which is Nipun Bharat program, which was launched in the year 2022-2021, and it was launched under the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan 2.0. Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan itself is an integrated program for school education, and it caters pre-primary education to class 12th. And under this, there is a Nipun Bharat Abhiyan, which was launched in the year 2021, and it aimed to improve the foundational literacy and numeracy till the year 2026-2027 in the children who are aged between 3 to 9 years till the end of grade 3. That is, the children in this age group till they attain the till they qualify class 3rd, till then they should achieve foundational literacy and numeracy, which we presently saw in this report that this is entirely missing. And the implementation of this scheme will be done by the Department of School Education and Literacy under the Ministry of Education. And one more important thing, that this scheme aims at capacity building of teacher. And for this, there is a teacher training program by the name Nishtha, right? And if we talk about Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan 2.0, it also has the vertical of teacher training. So this is Nipun Bharat Abhiyan, an important initiative by government in this regard to improve foundational literacy and numeracy. So as we have seen the challenges, what can be the way forward? First of all, we have seen that the first thing we can say, by effective implementation of new education policy 2020, which has all the innovative solutions to improve learning outcomes and for these particular aspect also. And the other solutions could be conducive environment for learning. And for this, we know that there should be presence of proper infrastructure, proper digital and physical infrastructure in the country. And for this, the learning pedagogy should be interesting. And for example, there can be hands-on training. There can be experiential learning where children learn by playing. There can be group activities. There can be debates. That is, in this type of learning, there are chances that the dropout rates, especially in the senior secondary or secondary education, will lower or reduce. So by conducive environment for learning, that is by the creation of suitable infrastructure, also by the creation of suitable pedagogy and curriculum. And the learning pedagogy, which the new education policy of 2020 promises, it should be adopted in consultation with NCERT and National Curriculum Framework. The curriculum should be designed and the preference should be given to regional languages, the studying in bilingual or in regional languages also. And the assessment should be a vertical which should be focused upon assessment. For assessment, there should be an year-round assessment for students, and also technology should be used in assessment. Another thing is capacity building of teachers. For this, there are several initiatives of the government, as we already saw, that Nishtha initiative and also teacher education in Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Also, by creation of various infrastructure in the country, which we already saw, creation of digital infrastructure in the country and physical infrastructure in the country. Also, by focusing on the health vertical. This can be by efficient implementation of the Poshan 2.0 program, by the midday meal scheme, effective implementation of midday meal scheme, by improving the infrastructure in Anganwadi centers. And also there is a need to promote vocational education. By promoting vocational education and hands-on training with industry requirement, these children in the school, they would be able to successfully move out of school and assimilate their learnings in various verticals of their life. And together with all these efforts, India would be able to meet Sustainable Development Goal 4, which aims for inclusive education and quality education for all, right? So this is what is about this article and this report. Now let's move on to our second topic for the day, which is regarding this news article, and this news article appeared in Business Line. This news article is regarding this news article says that let's prepare for a millets decade. And we know that the year 2023 was declared by Food and Agriculture Organization as an International Year of Millets. So this has given India a platform to market its millet based products globally and also in the country. Hence, this momentum which has been initiated in the country since last few years, and also the momentum which has been created by this initiative of FAO, this can be encashed by India in coming futures. So in this news article, we will be seeing a few facts about millets. And this topic is important for our GS paper 1 geography, and this is also important for our GS paper 3 economy under agricultural resources. Now let's see a few facts about millets. What are millets? Millets is a category of coarse grains and which is called by various names in the country, and this has been termed as superfood in the country, Shri Anna or superfood also. So these are also included in the category of cereals in the country, but these are coarse cereals or small cereals. Basically, millets are small grasses which produce some coarse cereals, right? And this cereals, an important thing is that these cereals can play a significant role in reducing food security, in supporting food security in the country, and also in aiding nutritional security in the country because of its various benefits, which we will see shortly. And so we can say that cereals has an importance in the food sector also for promoting food security, and also cereals can be used as fodder in the agriculture sector by the farmers. It can be used as fodders. So it has utility as food grain and also as fodder. Now let's talk about that what are the growing conditions for millets. Millet is basically a kharif crop, and it requires a temperature of roughly 25 degrees centigrade to 30 degrees centigrade, and it's a kharif crops. If we talk about the rainfall, millet is basically, it does not require enough water, more water, and it is a drought tolerant crop. But still it requires moderate rainfall. It does not require enough irrigation or water supply, but still it requires moderate rainfall, which can be in between 45 to 65 centimeters. So basically millets can be grown throughout India in the arid and semi-arid regions also. Millet is found in India in the tropical regions as well as subtropical regions and around the world also. If we talk about soil, requirement of soil, millet is adaptable to all the soil conditions. Primarily, it can grow in all types of soil, be it red soil, black soil, alluvial soil, sandy or loamy soil. But the best type of soil is alluvial or sandy soil for it. But important factor is that it requires sufficient drainage system such that water should not be stagnant, otherwise it will rot the roots of this millets. So these are some growing conditions of millets. And now let's talk about the distribution of millets in the world and country. India is the largest producer and even the largest exporter of millets in the world. And in this map we can see various regions in the globe where millets is produced. Some countries in the world like India, Nigeria, China, these are the countries, and some other countries in Africa. These are the countries where millets is grown in large number, and India is the largest producer and exporter of millets. And if we see the the statewide production of millets, we can see that the production of millets in the country is topped by Rajasthan. Rajasthan is the largest producer of millets in India. It is followed by Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka. And millets is a category of cereals. In it there are various types of millets, primary of which are ragi, bajra, and jowar. These are also known as finger millets, pearl millet, and sorghum respectively. And apart from these major category of millets, there are some minor category of millets in the country, which are foxtail millet, barnyard millet, brown top millet, little millet, kodo millet, and proso millet. But these ragi, bajra, and jowar, these are the major categories of millets which are grown in the country. And if we see their production, bajra tops its production, which is followed by jowar and ragi. And then other 2% production is of smaller millets. And if we see the production trends of millet in the country, we can see that the production of rice and wheat in the country, these are also cereals, and the production of rice and wheat in the country is way larger than the production of millet in the country. This can be seen by this latest trends that in this present financial year, the production of rice was 130 million metric tons and the production of wheat was 110 metric tons. But the production of millets is around 17 metric tons. So there is a huge difference in the production of wheat and rice. So we can see that our policies are in favor of production of wheat and rice. And also if we see the production of millets, if we see the trends of production during the last 10 years, we will find that, see, in the year 2011-2012, their production was around 18 million tons or 186 lakh tons. And now as we move in the year 2020-2021, their production is around 179 lakh tons. Earlier it was 186 lakh tons 1 decade ago, that is 10 years ago. So we have seen that there is a constant decline. There has been a decline in the production of millets, and this decline has also been witnessed in the year 2023. Now let's see that what are the challenges or why there is a decline in consumption or cultivation of millets. Let's see this. The first thing is there is a change in dietary habits in the country. Now, despite millets, they are high in various nutritional requirements. Now, let's see this in the properties of millets. Millets have significant health advantages over rice and wheat. If we talk about its protein content, millets is rich in protein content. Apart from protein, millet consists of other minerals like zinc, iron, and calcium. Millets also consist of antioxidants. Millets have low glycemic index, and which is very much beneficial for the people who have diabetes. And millet is gluten free. So these are all the health advantages of millets over rice and wheat. But we have seen that there is a decline in the consumption of millet in the country. And this decline in consumption is also followed by decline in production of millets. And let's continue with seeing the properties of millets. First property, that they offer enormous health benefits. The other benefit of millets is that they offer significant agricultural and environment benefits also. First of all, they can aid in sustainable agriculture owing to their important properties. Now, for example, millet consumes lesser water as compared to wheat and rice. Millet can also grow in poor soil conditions. Millet can also grow in unpredictable weather. As we all know that due to climate change, the weather trends have become unpredictable. So in this conditions also millets can grow. And millets can withstand higher temperature rise, or it is a drought tolerant species. So cultivation of millet is a form of sustainable agriculture, or we can say that millet is a kind of climate smart crop. And other benefits of growing millet is that it can significantly contribute to the farmer's income. As first of all, it can contribute by value addition. Small scale farmers, they can cultivate millet instead of wheat and rice in the rain-fed areas. What are rain-fed areas? These are the areas which primarily depend on rainfall for irrigation. So in these areas there is a scarcity of water, and since we all know that wheat and rice are water, they guzzle water or they drain water more in compared to millets. So in these rain-fed areas, millets are an alternative which these farmers can grow to augment or to increase their income. Other thing is that by their value addition, by establishing food processing industries, millet can significantly boost to the income of farmers. Finally, millets can also be used to produce bioethanol, and this can also aid to farmers' income. If we talk about environmental benefits, one environmental benefit is by the use of millets in producing bioethanol, and second environment benefit is that the cultivation of millets is done using traditional agricultural practices, and it is using less water also. So in this process less machines are used, so all these contribute to lesser greenhouse gaseous emissions. And the cultivation of millet is also not detrimental to the soil conditions, hence it has these following environmental benefits. Now, in spite of having these significant health benefits and also agricultural and environmental benefits, we see that the production of millets in the country is declining, which we already saw in this chart. And now we will see that what are the reasons for decline in their consumption and cultivation of millets. The first reason is change in dietary habits in the country. Now we know that prior to independence or earlier, millets, the area in which millets were grown was significant as compared to the area in which they are cultivated today. Primarily, this is because of the advent of Green Revolution. By the advent of Green Revolution, more focus was on the cultivation of wheat and rice. So in this scenario, the area in which millets and also other crops, they shrink. Hence, and this was one reason why the production decreased. The other thing was that because of more availability of wheat and rice, particularly under the PDS system, in the public distribution system, government favored the procurement of wheat and rice over other cereals like millets, and because of which people are accustomed to eat products which are made of wheat and rice. And this change in dietary habits, this is one of the reasons that there is a decline in consumption and cultivation of millets, right? The second thing is perception regarding millets and poor awareness. First thing is perception regarding millets. Millet is considered as a poor man's food, and people are not aware of its rich nutritional values which it can offer. So because of this thing also, there is a decline in consumption of millet and cultivation also. If there is less consumption, the cultivation would also be less. Other thing is more focus on wheat and rice, which we already saw that under the PDS procurement system and under the minimum support price, in MSP there are more than 23 crops which are included under MSP minimum support price, but out of these around 22 to 23 crops, the maximum procurement occurs of wheat and rice, and other crops are neglected. Recently government has added millet in the PDS system, but there is a more focus on wheat and rice, particularly by government procurement due to PDS system. Also by green revolution, as we all know, by high yielding variety of seeds, availability of high yielding variety of seeds, also by input support which the government has given for the production of rye and wheat, say in form of various subsidies, fertilizer subsidy, agriculture. We have various kind of subsidies and input support for production of wheat and rice, right? And such kind of input support is not present in case of other cereals. So this is also one of the reason why there is a decline in consumption and cultivation of millets. Other thing is finally because there is an inconvenience in food preparation using millets. See, there are more number of food items available which are made of rice and wheat, and there are less food items which there is a less variety of food items which is made of millets. Primarily because they there is a difficulty in there is a difficulty in the way they are prepared, or maybe their taste seems so may seem bland to people. So we can say that because of this difficulty in their preparation, because of less availability of packed food items which are made of millets, and because of this taste preferences of people, there is a decline in consumption and cultivation of millets. And now let's see that what could be some strategies which could be applied for promotion of millets. First thing is we need to increase the production of millets. As we already saw that in the country there is a momentum for promoting millets, for promoting the dietary use of millets. In that sense, for that production of millets should be increased, and so the more agricultural area should come under millets cultivation. For that there are various fallow lands. There are various lands which are fallow in the country. There are various dry lands which can be utilized for cultivation of millets. For this, government can take support of Manrega scheme. So under this Manrega scheme, these dry lands or these wastelands or these fallow lands which are left idle in the villages or in the neighboring villages, government can use this Manrega workers to cultivate these lands and to produce millets and to make a agricultural zone around that cultivation in order to market that produce which has been generated. The best thing is the promotion of millets in the rain-fed areas. Now we know that what are the concerns of green revolution, that the water table came down, and in India we know that there are various regions in the country which are primarily dependent on rainfall for irrigation, and in these crops the cultivation of wheat and rice can be replaced with the cultivation of millets. So in the rain-fed areas, the best approach is replacing or we can say complementing their cultivation with millets, right? This is one approach. Another approach is utilizing fallow and wasteland with the help of Manrega scheme. So this will increase the production of millets in the country. The second thing is by strategies in procurement and marketing. So under this scheme, what can be done? There can be some special agribusiness zones can be created which will deal with producing millets, mass production of millets, which will deal with processing millets, and which will deal with distribution of millets. So there can be a special agribusiness zone which can be decentralized at the local level, and in such agribusiness zone, the local variety of millets can be promoted, or there can be research on developing some high yielding seeds of millets also. Also, the government can procure, or government can increase the area of production through contract farming also, right? And government can, for the marketing of millets, government can establish food processing infrastructure, that is food processing infrastructure and logistics supply chain, which can include warehouses, proper industries, such that they can add value to the products which are made of millets. And these value added products, these would be more acceptable to the people, and they can change their dietary preferences if they get value added products which are easy to cook. Other thing is production support. Similar to the production support which the government is given for the cultivation of rice and wheat. Similarly, the government can give input support for the production of millets also. Also, under the PDS procurement, millets have been added, but government can procure more millets under PDS, especially for the midday meal scheme. Government can utilize it. So there should be increased production and government can increase the minimum support price of millets for PDS procurement. Finally, there should be awareness initiative such that the perception of millets, which is presently as a poor man's food, should be changed in the eyes of people. So these are some of the strategies which can be employed for promoting millets, and this can help India achieve the goal of which can prepare India for a millets decade basically. Now let's move on to our final section for the day, and this is regarding this news article which appeared on the explained section of Indian Express. Now this news article is basically an interview of the 2019 Nobel Prize winners of economics. So there is an interview of these people and they basically deal with the presence of inequality in the country, and because of which there is a lack of social mobility associated with it. Now, if there are inequalities in the country, that will definitely hamper the state of social mobility in that country. Now, basically the crux of this article is that, see, still in India, there are social inequalities. No, presently in India, there are multidimensional inequalities. Now, let me give you one example. Now, if we say in the field of education, say presently there was inequality some decades back, say 50 years ago, there were people who may not be able to gain education because they may be socially discriminated, maybe because of their caste, maybe because of their gender, religion, or some other issues. So in that time also there was certain kind of social inequality present in the society which were hampering their access to education. By now, see, this inequality has manifested in a different form. Now what happened? Now there is a gap in quality education in the country. Say there is a private infrastructure for education and there is a public infrastructure for education, and say especially in rural areas. And there is a significant gap in this public infrastructure of education and private infrastructure in terms of their quality. Now, because of this, now maybe the social discrimination has lessened. Maybe there is no such, maybe it has subdued to some extent. But this discrimination or this inequality has manifested in the form of another inequality, now which is regarding the SS, the inequality regarding SS. So still there are several forms of inequality present in the country. Now it is a series of 8 question interviews, and let me give you a crux of these questions. The first question was regarding the status of extreme poverty and lack of data availability in India. Now see what happens. NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization, it does the estimates of poverty in the country based on consumption expenditure. So based on consumption expenditure, there are estimates of poverty which are measured by NSSO, and the last such data which the country has is of the year 2011. Now the authors say that no such data has been released. There was another survey by NSSO in the year 2017, but the data of which was not released. Now the author says that, see, we don't have up-to-date official data, and now because of which there is inavailability which hampers the ability to make informed decisions. So there is a lack of data availability to gauge the real figures of poverty in the country. The second thing is regarding the suitability of multidimensional poverty index by Niti Aayog. Now we know that Niti Aayog has been using a multidimensional poverty index in the country since the year 2021, and now this is a more comprehensive this is a holistic indicator or more comprehensive indicator which gauges the extent of poverty in the country. And basically it uses 3 indicators, that is 3 broad indicators: health, education, and standard of living in the country. And based on this, there is a comprehensive multidimensional poverty index. And now the authors say that, see, in the absence of this consumption expenditure data, this multidimensional poverty index may offer a alternative to it, right? And so it is suitable, which the authors say. And now the next question was regarding the efficacy of strategies for elevating poverty. Now the authors say that there are several schemes by the government, like Manrega scheme, like PDS scheme, and they have been successful in elevating poverty and inequality to some extent. But still, there are several schemes by the government, like PM Awas Yojana or energy subsidy, and their effectivity is less clear as compared to these above schemes. The other question was regarding the bent towards addressing inequality over poverty. Now, as we already discussed that, this was regarding the presence of multidimensional equality. Still, that multidimensional inequality persists in the country. And then the author said that India lacks a national policy framework to address inequality. So India lacks a framework regarding it. Also, there was a question regarding education system. So the author highlighted that the poor state of educational system in the country, which is not based on which is just based on rote education and does little in order to improve educational outcomes, and it does not follow innovative pedagogy. This is what was said. And in case of employment, the author says that there is a growing trend in the country to see government jobs, and which is troublesome, and there should be strategies, there should be some kind of restructuring of the job market. The other issues was regarding the issue of child nutrition and health. Now, for the child nutrition, we all know that government has initiated various schemes in the country, but still we see that in the global hunger index and in the other national family health data, allocation for health and education. Now we know that for education presently, for a large number of time, for a long time, India spent around 3% of GDP in education. But the new education policy 2020, it aims at spending 6% of India's GDP for education, for which the authors say that, yeah, it's a good move. But for healthcare, currently we are spending around 2% of India's GDP, which the authors say that, okay, this should be increased in future. Now, that's all for today's discussion. If you have some questions, you can ask us in the comment section. Thank you.